The best time of the year is finally here. The NBA playoffs, where the best 16 teams in the world go at it to cement themselves in basketball history. This year, in my opinion, might be the most electric first-round matchups we've seen across both conferences. Renewed rivalries and neck-and-neck teams highlight what's to come, and I want to give some quick thoughts on how these teams stack up against each other and my predictions for them. I'm currently making this right before the final play-in games, so I'll be giving my predictions in those two games along with the series they'll be playing in next. But I need to make a disclaimer that the regular season series between two teams means absolutely nothing when the playoffs come, because circumstances and situations are different between both teams, and the game changes significantly in the playoffs compared to the past 82 games. Anyways, let's get right into it with the matchups on the east side. The juggernaut Boston Celtics get a matchup between either a beat-up Miami Heat team without two of their best players, and Jimmy Butler, who's dealing with an MCL sprain from the play-in matchup against the Sixers, and Terry Rozier, who has a neck injury, or the 39-win Chicago Bulls. I expect the Bulls to come out of that last play-in game against the beat-up Heat to play the Celtics. This is a lopsided matchup regardless of who the Celtics face, but Chicago does have a few guys that could make some games competitive. Kobe White is my pick for most improved, and DeMar DeRozan's game is perfect for a playoff environment. But Boston dominated in the regular season series and swept Chicago, and I don't expect it to be much different this time around. I got the Celtics in 4, and there's not too much to say about this matchup, so let's not waste time with this one. In the 2-7 series, we have a highly competitive matchup with the Knicks and the Sixers. The Knicks won this regular season series 3-1, but I expect it to be a lot closer than this. Embiid missed the last 3 games between these two teams, and now he's somewhat healthy and ready for his first deep playoff run. But I think this is a great matchup for New York. In my opinion, they got blessed with this matchup given that Miami was the other team they could have faced. And I'm not as high on the Sixers as a lot of other people are. From a roster standpoint, they don't have a lot of threats outside of Embiid and Maxey that the Knicks should fear, even though their bench is a lot better than it was in their earlier season matchups. They were a 20-point Nick Batum game away from seeing the Celtics with the 8th seed. And the Knicks are just another version of Miami defensively, which is a very active, tough-nosed defense. In the only meeting at full strength between both teams, Embiid shot 10 for 23 for 30 points. They stuck Hardenstein mainly on Joel, but gave OG a few looks on him as well. New York has the personnel to play Embiid straight up, but that can pay a price as he can do things like this on him. But I do think Philly can drag this to 7 games, just because I don't expect Jalen Brunson to be able to will New York to a win in every single game. But in that very last game in New York, give me Brunson and the Knicks to close it out at 7. In one of the more exciting matchups in the playoffs, we got the 3-seed Milwaukee Bucks against the 6-seed Indiana Pacers. In a newly formed rivalry from the play-in tournament to the Giannis game ball fiasco, Indiana low-key has had the Bucks number this season. They won the season series 4-1, and both teams are getting their wish to face each other in the playoffs.
There's certain teams that just got your number. I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out because I know we're gonna play them in the playoffs, and boy, it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty for them.
I am super excited for this series, but there's a small asterisk on this one with Giannis's calf injury. There's been reports from Shams that the injury could be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, and I think it would be irresponsible to rush him back anytime soon. We saw what happened with KD in 2019, and this is a very similar injury that Giannis has been dealing with for a large part of the season. Even if he was fully healthy and playing, Milwaukee struggled with the Pacers' up-tempo offense, and I was really curious to see how it would stand in the playoffs where things slow down much more. Like I said, Indiana flourished in transition against the Bucks in the regular season. But when the game slows down, look for them to attack the Bucks' drop coverage with Brook Lopez. Miles Turner ate against the Bucks in these type of actions and averaged 19 points and shot 36% from 3. Facing the Bucks healthy or not was probably the best case in the first round for the Pacers, and with Giannis potentially missing a few games, I'm going to take the Pacers in 6. In the last matchup in the East, we got the 4-5 battle between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. This is what most fans might call the most boring matchup of the 8 series we have, but I think it'll be a fun duel between two teams who are very similar schematically. They split the season series 2-2, and both are hard-nosed defensive teams that struggle to score at times, and both kinda declined towards the end of the season. This is a matchup between two teams with incredible size and length. The rim protection is what stands out from both teams, so it'll be key to see who wins the paint battle throughout the series. Specifically the Cavs, their perimeter defenders can get away with blow-bys because of the tall trees inside. This is a very good opportunity for the young Magic team to find success in their first playoff appearance, but they'll have to face their offensive demons head on against the 7th ranked defense in the league. We should expect a mid-2000s style of basketball with slow pace, low scoring games that come down to whose offense can make big shots down the stretch. And the team that will make those plays in crunch time, in my opinion, is the Cavs, since they have one of the best playoff performers in the league in Donovan Mitchell. I fully expect him to bounce back from his subpar playoff series against the Knicks last year, and what better team to do it against than one who has zero experience in this environment. I'm taking the Cavs in 6 basically because of experience, and they have Spider and the Magic don't. Now out west, we have much better matchups in basically every seed. To start, we got the 1 seed OKC Thunder versus either the Kings or the Pelicans, who play in the final play-in game. I expect Sacramento to be a Pelicans team who's sadly missing their superstar Zion Williamson. Zion played the best game of his life against the Lakers in the 7-8 game, but went down with a hamstring injury super late in that game. I don't think New Orleans has enough offense to keep up with the Kings, although they as well are missing some key guys. This leads us to a very competitive 1-8 series that could come down to the wire in every game. Both these teams split the 4 games in the regular season 2-2. The Thunder were one of the biggest surprises as they got the 1 seed while being one of the youngest teams in the league. They have in my mind the MVP of the league in SGA, who joined an elite group of players that had back-to-back 30 points per game seasons at age 25 or younger. The Battle of Kentucky Yards will be intriguing to watch, but the biggest matchup for me is Chet versus Sabonis. Sabonis has been very comfortable against Chet this year and has a big physicality advantage. Chet has to limit Sabonis off the glass if they want to win this series. But Chet does add a unique element with his ability to put the ball on the floor that Sabonis might have some trouble with. Although I think the Thunder do have a lot of question marks with their front court, that won't be an issue in the first round as I have them beating the Kings in 6 super competitive games. In the 2-7 matchup, we got a rematch of the most competitive sweep of all time in last year's Western Conference Finals with the Lakers against the Nuggets. This is a series a lot of folks will be talking about since it's the Lakers, but one that I feel like everyone kind of knows the outcome of. Denver swept the Lakers 3-0 in their season series this year, but LA is playing some very good basketball right now. The others are delivering for LeBron and AD on a nightly basis, and this Nuggets team is not as dominant as last year. If you remember last year, their series came down to crunch time in literally all 4 games. This series will once again be won or lost in the clutch, and I'm very curious to see if the Lakers can somehow flip the script and win those moments when needed. I do think the Lakers match up a lot better this year, although it's pretty much the same team as last year, but players are buying into their role and they finally seem to have a feel on how to play with each other. And like I said before, this Nuggets team is definitely not as dominant as last season, but still very strong and my favorite to come out of the West. So give me Denver in 6, but I could see the Lakers maybe taking this series in 7 if they get the best version of their role players. Next, we got a series that I am very, very excited for, the 3 seed Minnesota Timberwolves versus 6 seed Phoenix Suns. A defensive juggernaut with multiple elite defenders against a team with 3 all-time scorers. I'm going to give the advantage to Minnesota just because I think their defensive big 3 of Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker have the tools to contain KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. McDaniels and his size will cause pressure and havoc while recovering to make stops like this. Ant is the smallest of the 3, but as long as he makes it as tough as he can, he should find success against the Suns stars. And Alexander Walker might be the best point of attack defender of the 3, so it'll be super fun to watch him take his turns throughout the series. The biggest question will be Minnesota's offense, but this is a good opportunity to get going against a subpar defense. For Phoenix, they ran into a gauntlet of teams in their last 10 games, but they came out 7-3 and are low-key rolling heading into the playoffs. They made it out of the play-in and set up a date with Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves. KD, Book, and Beal are finally healthy and gelling together offensively, and that trio can absolutely carry this team far in the postseason despite their thin bench and weak frontcourt rotation. The Suns swept the season series 3-0, but I don't think this same dominance will happen again, and I gotta stick with what I've been preaching the past few months with my cosign on the Timberwolves, so I'm taking Minnesota in 7 over the Suns.
So, you know, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
And with the last series of the first round, we got probably the best matchup between 2 familiar teams in the 4th seed LA Clippers and the 5th seed Dallas Mavericks. In an absolute banger of a series, the Mavs are looking to finally beat the star-studded Clippers in the playoffs. Luka has gone 0-2 against LA, but this is hands down his best shot to take them down, as Dallas was very aggressive at the deadline and built one of the best rosters in the league. There are elite matchups all over the floor, most importantly the Mavs backcourt versus PG and Kawhi. These teams haven't played each other since December, so they both look much different. In these matchups, Luka was primarily guarded by either Kawhi or Terrence Mann, and Kyrie was held by PG. I expect these same cross matches to happen, but if Kawhi isn't healthy, then Westbrook may get a lot of time on Luka. The biggest question is once again the Clippers' health, as Kawhi is dealing with a knee injury. As usual, they've been very quiet about what is really going on and his status heading into Game 1. There's been a few reports that he may miss Game 1 but come back for Game 2. If he's even close to 100%, the Clippers will be in a great position to advance past Luka again. But the Mavs might be the hottest team in the league and don't really have holes around their superstar backcourt. But I trust Ty Lue in his big three, so give me the Clippers in 7 games and what should be a true toss-up series. We got a big weekend ahead of us with the start of the first round, and everyone should be super excited to see how these matchups play out. I'm going to be breaking down nearly every series as they go on, so be on the lookout for that. Let me know in the comments how you think these matchups will go. Keep it locked, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.